Hello, baseball fans. Anthony with BBSN, and we're going to do a little one-off game tonight. This is kind of a warm-up for one of these side projects that I'll have going. And again, my main project is the 1922 St. Louis Browns Time Machine replay, and also have the Fergie Jenkins, the revised Fergie Jenkins 1969 Cubs replay with payoff pitch baseball. And the other side project I was going to do is a little, I guess, homage to the barnstorming Negro League teams of yesteryear, and based loosely on inspired, I should say, by the movie The Bingo Long All-Stars and Traveling Motor Kings, a 1976 flick starring Billy D. Williams, whose character was loosely based on Satchel, Paige. And the movie also contained a character based on Josh Gibson, as well as Cool Papa Bell, as well as some others. So, and nothing extremely deep in terms of a baseball movie, just a good fun movie to watch. And pits the good guys, the barnstorming all-star players, against the evil owner of a Negro League franchise, and it culminates with them playing his team for the basic rights to, I believe, contracts or extra reimbursement. Been a while since I've seen it, but a good fun movie, and again, that's what inspired this project. So I'm going to play this game for two reasons. One is just a little warm-up. I wanted to play with these cards. These cards are from the Hall of Fame set, of course, and two, I have not played much Strat Advanced since I got back into playing Strat back in January when this channel started. So, and mainly because the 1922 St. Louis Browns Time Machine replay is only available in Basic. So there's going to be some kinks playing Super Advanced. I want to get them out of the way. This game will be a little bit slower, so just want to get familiar with the charts, and we'll probably make a mistake or two, but want to get those out of the way. So what better way to do that than a spring training / exhibition game? And for Satchel's All-Stars, which is what I'll be naming his team, what better opponent than the 1911 world champions, the Philadelphia Athletics of Connie Mack. And in the actual project, once it gets going, Satchel's All-Stars will be playing 5-game sets against 3 other Hall of Fame All-Star teams. One, a modern-day American League All-Star team featuring the likes of Ruth Gehrig, Walter Johnson, Ty Cobb, etc. And also the modern-day National League All-Star team, which will feature such players as Hammer and Hank Aaron, and Christy Mathewson, Willie Mays, among others there. And then also I have a team I made that consists of players who played the majority or all of their careers pre-1900. So we call them the Legacy All-Stars, and that contains players from that era, such as King Kelly, Cap Anson, and Tim Keefe. So should be fun and interesting, but again, wanted to get kind of used to Strat Advanced again. And so we're going to play this little exhibition game and see how it turns out. This game has been played in Wrigley Field. Satchel's All-Stars will be the home team. And I selected Wrigley Field in honor of Rube Foster, who quite honestly is, I guess you'd say, the godfather of the modern Negro Leagues, which he started the first really stable organization around the turn of the 20th century, and did great things for the game. And in fact, a lot of what happened afterwards would not have been possible without Rube Foster. So as an homage to him, we will play that in his town of Chicago. That said, let's go over our lineups for the visiting Philadelphia Athletics 1911 World Champion version. Cocky Eddie Collins leads off at second base. Stuffy McGinnis at first. Danny Murphy bats third and right. Frank Home Run Baker, 1911 World Series hero, hits cleanup. And center fielder Rube Olgren hits 5th, and that is Stratomatic Delaware Chris's favorite player from this team. He has a field named after him, I do believe. Batting 6th in left field will be Briss Lord. At 7th, shortstop Jack Berry, the 4th member of Connie Mack's famed $100,000 infield. Ira Thomas will be behind the plate tonight, and pitching for the A's, Colby Jack Coombs. 1911, far and away his best season in the majors, a 28-game winner. And he, that year, was the de facto ace of a staff that also included Hall of Fame hurlers Eddie Plank and Chief Bender. For Satchel's All-Stars, representing the Hall of Fame Negro League players, leading off in left field, a man said to be fast enough to flip the light switch and get into bed before it got dark, Cool Papa Bell. One of the original 5-tool players, Oscar Charleston, will be in center and hits 2nd. Big Mule Suttles' first base hits 3rd. And Josh Gibson will be behind the plate hitting cleanup. He was often called the Black Babe Ruth, and to others, Babe Ruth was called the White Josh Gibson. He had that much respect back in the day, and truly, if there was one player I wish had gotten the opportunity to play in the majors, it would be him. And he actually just may be a subject of a potential future Time Machine replay when I'm done with the Brownies. Hitting 5th in right field, Turkey Stearns. Batting 6th, 3rd baseman Judy Johnson. Ray Dandridge will hit 7th and play 2nd base. Shortstop Pop Lloyd, a player often favorably compared to Hannes Wagner, will be in the 8th spot. And on the mound, the team's namesake, Satchel Paige himself. Man, truly a character, one of a kind. Once had a rocking chair out in the pen when he finally did get his opportunity to play in the majors. So we are ready to go. Let's roll. Eddie Collins is up. And again, this game may have some slow spots as I get familiar with the charts. So forgive me in advance. Oh, and one more quick thing. We're up to 99 subscribers now. So one short of 100 when we will do our 3-card giveaway, which consists of the technical but not official Mark McGwire rookie card, and also the 1993 Upper Deck rookie cards of projected superstar that did not quite make it, David Need, and a definite superstar who did make it, a Hall of Famer, Mike Piazza. So once we get to 100, we will do the giveaway for those. And here in Chicago, we're ready to go. And Satch, 3 and a 10 in this righty-righty matchup. And Eddie Collins is going to lead this off with a walk. And dare he try and steal against Josh Gibson? Collins is a 15, a -3 steal adjustment. So let's see if he gets his lead. And 11. And that was the one roll he did not want to get. Collins is picked off. So much for that. One down, Stuffy McGinnis. And 2 and 11 to McGinnis, and that is going to be a ballpark single. And here in Chicago, it will be 1-6, and McGinnis gets it. So Collins, base running blunder. He got caught leaning, looms large early on here. And right fielder, the right-handed hitting right fielder, Danny Murphy, up, and 5 and a 9. It's going to be a strikeout for Big Satch. Gives him an order of chili con queso, heavy on the K. 2 down, and Frank home run Baker. And 5 and a 6, and left-hander, he still struck him out. So Satch gives up a hit and a walk, but comes back and strikes out the final 2 batters as we head to the bottom of the 1st inning. No score for the A's, and Satchel's All-Stars coming to bat with Colby Jack Coombs on the mound for the world champion 1911 A's. 4 and a 6 to Cool Papa Bell, who is a switch hitter, and that is going to be a strikeout for Colby Jack Coombs. So Bell goes down swinging to start things off. Oscar Charleston up. And 1 and a 7, and that's a split chance skinny triple, most likely a double, and he bangs that off the wall in right center field. So around to second base is Charleston. Mule Settles comes up. Nothing on the 2-die 20. And 6 and a 7 from Combs, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. And Cocky Eddie Collins down there is a 1 and an E28. So 2 on the range chart, and Collins does not get to that. That is a single advance 1. And I actually forgot if you're supposed to still check an error. I'm not going to. Someone, if you see this, please comment and correct me, or I will read it later. So Charleston over to third, and the All-Stars have runners at the corners with only 1 down. And the powerful Josh Gibson up, a dangerous hitter, 5-7, and that is going to be a single into left field. And Settles is a 15, and out in left for the A's, we have Briss Lord, who is a -1 and a additional -2 for the hit being to left field. 1 to 12, and Settles, he's going to try and stretch it. And he's in there, so slides in under the tag. And coming in to score is Oscar Charleston, and Josh Gibson fittingly has our first RBI of this barnstorming series. Turkey Stearns up now. 1 and a 5 for the Turkey, and that is a split chance single. And they are getting to Coombs early in this one. Single runners advance 1, so Mule Settles advancing pays off as he comes in to score. Gibson stops at second base. Still only 1 down. Runners on first and second, and Judy Johnson up. The slugging third baseman. And 2 and a 9, and that is going to be a ground ball to shortstop, and that's going to be a double play. So Barry to Collins and over to McGinnis. 6-4-3, but the Negro League All-Stars come up with 4 hits. And actually, we'll just call them Satchel's All-Stars. 4 hits, a couple of runs, and leave 1. So a 1 inning in the books, and it is 2-0. Satchel's All-Stars over the 1911 World Champion Philadelphia Athletics. And for the Athletics, Rube Oldring wants to get a hit for Chris at Stratomatic, Delaware. A 2 and a 5 against the righty, and that is going to be a ground ball down to second base. So 4-3 on the putout. Dandridge, 1 down. Briss Lord up, and the A's left fielder 1 and a 5, and that's going to be a single. So Briss Lord, he is also a 15, and he is thinking about testing the arm of Josh Gibson and thinks better of it. He's going to hold and let Jack Berry come up and do his thing. 2-7, and fly ball to left field, runners hold. I do not use the clutch ratings, by the way. I'll talk about that at another time, or maybe during slow spots in this game, but clutch is probably one of the most overestimated, or the word I'm looking for slips my mind, but basically really a stat that doesn't have as much foundation as people give it credit for. So Ira Thomas, the catcher, up now, and 2 and a 6 against Paige, and Thomas is going to do a little work here. Split chance, and that is a 4, and he triples, and the A's are on the board as Briss Lord comes around to score. So the weak hitting catcher, Ira Thomas, comes through. Not so weak, I guess. He did hit 273 in 1911, which was a little bit above the league average. Colby Jack Combs up now. And 1 and 11, that's a ground ball down to second base, and that is going to end the inning. So 4-3 on the putout, but the 11 A's come back and put one on the board, and we are through an inning and a half. It's 2-1, Satchel's All-Stars. Heading to the bottom of the second, and leading off will be second baseman Ray Dandridge. And 3 and an 8, and that's going to be a single for Dandridge to left field. And the steal adjustment for the A's is also -3, and Dandridge is going to stay put. That would give him a chance of 1-12 to steal. Not risking it. 6-7 versus a lefty, and that's a ground ball down to Eddie Collins at second base. So Cocky Collins, he is a 1 and a 28. And 13, he's going to get to that, and 28 with a 12. And Collins makes the play. And that is going to be a 4-6-3 double play. So Eddie on the twin killing and doubles up the tough to double up Pop Lloyd. That brings up Satchel Paige. And Colby Jack, 2 and a 4, grounder down to home run Baker. And that is the final out of the inning. So 3 up, 3 down for Satchel Stars in the second. And we head to the top of the third. Our score is Satchel's All-Stars 2, 1911 A's 1. 3 and a 7 to Cocky Collins, and Eddie back to the top of the order, and he's going to fly out to right field this time. Stuffy McGinnis up. And 5-5 against the righty. Satchel struck him out, his third of the game. So Satchel, thinking about motioning his outfielders to come sit down, thinks better of it. Pitches to Danny Murphy, and 5-11, and that's going to be a fly ball to left field. So a quick 3 up, 3 down for the 1911 A's. And we go back to Satchel's All-Stars, also at the top of the order. The fleet-footed Cool Papa Bell to face Jack Coombs, and Colby Jack delivers. And 2 and a 6, and that's going to be a split chance, and that'll be a single for Cool Papa Bell. So Bell dancing around down at first. He will be a 1-14 to try and steal if he can get a jump. And he needs a 4, 5, or 6 to get the jump. So as fast as he is, not very prolific in terms of attempts, and he does not get the jump. He stays put. Oscar Charleston up. And 6 and a 5 against the lefty. That's a fly ball to right field. Runner holds to 1 down. The big first baseman, Mule settles, and 1-5 against the right-hander, and that is going to be a split chance single and into the outfield. That's going to hold Cool Papa Bell at second, however. So station to station as Satchel's All-Stars set the table for Josh Gibson, the power-hitting catcher. And 6 and an 8, and Coombs not helping himself at all. And 20, that is a single, runners advance 2, so Cool Papa Bell comes in to score. Mule settles over to third, and Josh Gibson, his second hit of the day and second RBI. It is 3-1 Satchel's All-Stars. Still only 1 down for Turkey Stearns. Runners at the corner, 4 and a 7 against the lefty, and that's a walk, and they are loaded up. And I am not rolling that 1-20 before the pitches, darn it. I'll catch myself. Nothing on the 1-20. Judy Johnson up, 3 and a 7. And against the right-hander, that is a skinny single chance. Can Baker make the play at third base? He does. Reaches out and snags that line drive, 2 down. And that is a potential game saver there, as that would have played at 2 most likely. Nothing on the 1-die-20. Ray Dandridge, 2 and a 6 against the right-hander, and that's a ground ball back to the pitcher. Coombs takes care of that. And the inning is over. However, Satchel's All-Stars do collect 3 hits and a walk, and they play another run. We are through 3 innings, and it is 3-1. Top of the 4th now. Frank Home Run Baker leading it off against Satchel Paige. And 2-5 against the right-hander, and that's going to be a single for Baker. So Frank, 15, it'll be 1-12 to try and steal. He's going to try and do it, and 2 and a 12, he's going regardless. So 1-12, Baker goes, and he is in there. Defies the powerful arm of Josh Gibson, has a stolen base. Runner on second base for Rube Oldring, nothing on the 1-die-20. And 4 and a 9 from Paige against the right-hander, and that is going to be a strikeout. Paige is 4th. So 1 down. Lord up. Nothing on that. And 2 and a 7. And Lord is going to draw a walk, so runners on first and second now. Paige in just a little bit of trouble, but he has a 2-run lead, and he's been known to be able to bear down. 3-8, and Jack Berry. That's going to be a ground ball down to third base, and that is going to retire the runner at second. So over to third goes Frank Home Run Baker. Lord retired 5-4, and Jack Berry on first after a fielder's choice, but there are now 2 down. And Ira Thomas. Thomas came up big and had an RBI his first time up, nothing on the 20-sided. 4 and a 6 to Paige, and Satchel. That is his bad zone, and 14, that's going to be a single, runners advance 2. So Ira Thomas, the unlikeliest of offensive threats in this lineup, has his second hit and second RBI of the day as Frank Baker comes in to score. And Jack Berry parades over to third, and that will bring up the pitcher spot. Colby Jack Coombs, not a terrible hitting pitcher, not exactly great either. And 5 and a 6, and he is I think he's a switch hitter. He is. So 5-6 against the lefty, and that's going to be a strikeout anyway. So Satchel puts an end to that nonsense, but the 1911 World Champion A's get a couple of hits and plate another run. They shave the deficit to 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And set to lead it off for Satchel's All-Stars will be Pop Lloyd, and 6-11. And Lloyd, that is going to be extra bases. That'll be a double for Pop. So Lloyd on at second base, and up to bat is Satchel, and what we are going to do here is bunt. So again, charts I don't use very much. That is a C. So Satchel Paige squares, and a 9. And 9 is a 1 and 2. Safety squeeze, pitcher throws a ball, and then the batter falls off 2 pitches. Offensive matter, much decide whether to take off the squeeze. What would that be on that chart? All right, so I guess we are going to have to was reading the wrong column. If he stays with the bunt and his reading occurs again, batter is out on a strikeout. We're going to bunt again anyway. What are the odds of rolling that twice in a row? Come on now. 8, and that is a sacrifice, so Paige gets it done. And we'll say 1-3 on that. And over third goes Pop Lloyd, back to the top of the order. And Cool Papa Bell steps in. Nothing on the 1-20, and Bell 6-4. And that's going to be a catcher X in Ira Thomas. And Thomas is a 2. I'm in the wrong place. Thomas is a 1E5. So let's see. So 11 and 8 on the E5. And that's going to be a pop out. And E5-8, he is good. So batter pops out to the catcher. And there is now 2 down. So F2 for Bell, and a runner still on third base. Oscar Charleston up, nothing on the 1D20. And 666 against the lefty, and that's going to be a ground ball down to first base. And good old Stuffy McGinnis down there is a 227. So 2, 15 and a 2, he gets to that, and 27 for first base. 27 and a 14, and that is going to be an error in E1. So that gets the run home from third. And again, I apologize as I reacclimate myself to playing super advanced. Have some lulls as I look up stuff on the charts. So Charleston on at first base, and 1-14 to steal. And he is a 2-6 or 11. He can go. He's going to give it a shot. So 1-14, Charleston, and he's got the stolen base. So both teams running wild now. Mule settles. Nothing on the 1D20. And 5 and an 8, and that's going to be a strikeout. So after all that, an unearned run is scored on Colby Jack. And we are through 4 innings, and Satchel's All-Stars lead this baby 4-2. And Eddie Collins back to the top of the order for the 1911 A's. And 2 and a 7 for Collins, and that's going to be a fly out to center field, 1 down. Stuffy McGinnis up. 3 and a 4 against the right-hander. That's a ground ball down to shortstop. 6-3 on the putout. Danny Murphy, 4 and a 7. And against the right-hander, that's going to be a single. Murphy, he's going to give this a shot. Murphy is an exceptional stealer, but he needs a 4 and a 5 to be able to. He's going. So his rating is 19, adjusted to a 16, and he's in there with a stolen base himself. So both teams running wild here. Frank Baker up, nothing on the 1-20. And 4 and a 2 to Baker against the lefty, and that's going to be a fly out to center field. So a hit but no runs, and we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, still 4-2, Satchel's All-Stars. Josh Gibson leads it off against Colby Jack, and Gibson 3 and a 5 against the right-hander, and that's going to be a single to center field. So Gibson on, and he's going to stay put. Turkey Stearns up now. 2 and a 9, and this lineup is powerful. That's a ground ball down to second base. However, and Collins is going to turn 2 there. 4-6-3 on the double play to Berry to McGinnis, and 2 outs now for the Hall of Fame Negro League Satchel Paige All-Stars. 4 and 8 to Judy Johnson, the right-hander, and that's going to be a fly out to left field. So 1 hit, but no runs. We're through 5 and still 4-2, Satchel's All-Stars. And Rube Aldrin tips his cap to his #1 fan in Delaware. The pitch from Paige, and 3 and a 7. And 3-7 against the righty is going to be a fly out to center field. And speaking of Stratomatic Delaware Chris, he is going to have a marathon live stream tomorrow in honor of Tabletop Gaming Day, starting at 2:45 Eastern Time. He'll be playing 4 basic games with various matchups, teams from the dead ball era, and one that I'm looking forward to, the 69 Mets against the 71 Pirates, Seaver against Blass. He will take a break for dinner and come back and wrap it up with 3 super advanced games from 1991, including 1 game he actually attended. So if you have time tomorrow, not doing anything, stop in at Stratomatic Delaware and say hi to Chris. Check out his live stream. He's always got some good stuff going there. So back to our game. Briss Lord, 6s all around, and that is going to be a fly out to left field. I, again, do not use the hollow triangles. So 2 down, and Paige has gotten comfortable. Much more comfortable than I am with that dice. I do not play craps when I go to Vegas. I play cards because I don't drop them on the floor. So 6-5 to Jack Berry, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Paige, he now has 5 strikeouts on the day, and 3 up, 3 down for the 1911 A's. And we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Colby Jack still on the mound facing Ray Dandridge, and 6 and a 9 against the right-hander. And that is going to be a possible triple, and it falls instead in front. So single for Dandridge. And Dandridge not going to try anything. Gosh darn it. I drop dice like some people use whiteout. 5 and a 5, and Pop Lloyd, and that's going to be a pop up to shortstop. So Pop pops out to his position on the other side, Jack Berry. 1 down. Dandridge still at first, nothing on the D20. And 6 and a 7. And that's going to be a ground ball to second base. So again, Eddie Collins down there is a 128. Looks like he does not get to that. Actually he does. And 28 with a 15. And that, my friends, is going to be an E1. So Collins, second error on the day for the A's. Ray Dandridge down to second base, and Satchel Paige on due to E4. And we are back to the top of the order now. Cool Papa Bell, and he has a chance to blow this open. And in the Athletics bullpen, Eddie Plank is getting ready to loosen up. Stretching down there. We're good on the D20, and 5 and an 8. And Coombs against the left-hander, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Collins gets this one cleanly over to Berry, over to McGinnis. 4-6-3 double play against a very tough man to double up. So Satchel's All-Stars get another hit, leave one, and we are through 6 innings. It remains Satchel's All-Stars 4 and the 1911 World Champion Philadelphia A's 2. As we head now to the 7th inning, home stretch, Ira Thomas leading it off. He's had a good day thus far against Paige. 1 and a 5. It's not going to continue though, as he whiffs at that. Heads back to the dugout. Colby Jack Coombs up. And they're going to let him hit, as was customary at the time, and 2 and a 7. He gets himself a bowl of Special K as well, and that's 2 down. Satchel Paige, top of the order, facing Eddie Collins. And 4 and a 5 against the lefty. And Satchel, he could have had the outfield come in and sit down, as he strikes out the side, and that's 7 in a row sit down by Paige now. As we head to the bottom of the 7th in Wrigley Field, and Harry Carey, in honor of you, a cold bud at the old ball game. Oscar Charleston against Coombs to lead off the bottom of the 7th, 5 and a 6. And against the lefty, that's a fly ball to center field. 1 down, Buell settles up. And settles 5 and a 5, and the right-hander, that's a strikeout for Coombs. Josh Gibson, the power-hitting catcher, up, and 6 and a 5, and that's going to be a walk. Colby Jack wants no part of leaving one around the plate for Josh Gibson. The 1-20 is good, so 5 and a 6. And against Turkey Stearns, that's a fly out to center field. So the walk does not come back to haunt Combs. And we are through 7 innings. It remains 4-2. Satchel's All-Stars over the 1911 World Champion A's, and Stuffy McGinnis is set to start the 8th. And this is Satchel Paige's point of weakness inning. 2 and an 8 here for McGinnis, and that's going to be a Stuffy, not very known for his power, but he can get a home run here. Does not, but he'll settle for a double instead. So McGinnis now on at second base, and Paige to Murphy, 1 and a 4, and that's going to be a walk. So Satchel actually now 1 away from becoming fatigued. I go by, for point of weakness, I go by 3 walks, hits in an inning, and 5 total after you reach that inning. So Frank Baker can put a dent in Satchel Paige, and Bullet Joe Rogan is warming up in the in Satchel's All-Stars bullpen. 2 and a 5 to Baker. And that is going to be a single, runners advance 2. So we have a rally going here. As coming in to score is McGinnis. Over to third goes Murphy, and Baker has an RBI single. It's 4-3 now. Still nobody out. Runners at the corners. Rube Oldring has a chance to be a hero and earn that field been named after him. So Satchel Paige has reached his point of weakness now. So anything with a circle will become a single. And 6 and a 7 against the right-hander. And that's going to be a fly ball to right field. That's going to get the run home. So trotting home from third is Danny Murphy on the sacrifice fly. RBI to Oldring, and this game is tied up at 4, folks. So if Satchel's All-Stars thought they were going to be in for a cakewalk, they are not. And 5 and a 7, and Paige trying to get out of this, and that strikeout will count. But a couple of runs by the 1911 A's, and we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. They've tied this baby up at 4. So we are heading for a big finish now. And Colby Jack Coombs to face Judy Johnson. Eddie Plank is ready if needed. And the 9th is Coombs' point of weakness, so he is still good to go. 5 and a 5 to Judy, and that's a strikeout. So Coombs still hurling the pellet well as Johnson heads back to the dugout. Ray Dandridge up now. 4-3 to the righty, and that's a fly ball to right field. And the right fielder out there, Danny Murphy, is a 2-11. So 10 and a 2, he gets to that, and E11 on a 13. And that is going to be, oops, wrong call, and that's going to be a 2-base error. So an extremely inopportune time for him to muff a fly ball. E9, and Ray Dandridge now is at second base with a single out, and Pop Lloyd up. And we will have a pinch hitter when the pitcher spot comes up. And Willie Wells is limbering up in the on-deck circle now. So Coombs to Lloyd, 4 and a 4 against the left-hander, and that's a ground ball down to shortstop. And Jack Berry is a 248. Oh, goodness. And 2, he is not going to get to that. That is a single, runners advance 1. So over to third goes Dandridge. And Satchel Paige is going to be pulled. So Paige, he is done after 8 innings. And Satchel gives up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 hits, 4 runs. All of those runs were earned. He ends up walking 2, and he strikes out 10. So good day for Paige on the mound, and Rogan will be the next pitcher. And Willie Wells now will be the pinch hitter. And here we go. Coombs the pitch, and 5 and a 6. And the righty, Willie Wells, and that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop, and that's going to be huge. 6-4-3 double play. So Wells cannot come through in the clutch. And we are heading to the last inning, folks, and we are still tied at 4. And new pitcher for Satchel's All-Stars will be Bullet Joe Rogan. Rogan, over the average his years were taken, was 22 and 9, a 2.63 ERA, and he brings the heat as his name would apply. Facing Jack Berry to lead things off in the 9th here for the A's. And I hope we do not get free baseball because my camera phone is dying. 10% battery left. Think positive. We'll get through this. 1 and 11 against Bullet Joe. And that is going to be a ground ball down to first base. So 3 unassisted. Ira Thomas up, and Thomas has been one of the offensive heroes for the A's. He's got a couple hits, 2 RBIs, and 6-4 here. And that's going to be a fly out to center field. And they are going, Eddie Plank is loose and ready to go, so you know what, we are going to pull Coombs. I mean, you know, Plank is a Hall of Famer, not bad in relief. And we are going to go to the bench for a pinch hitter. So on the bench, the A's are going to go with Amos Strunk to pinch hit for Coombs. Eddie Plank is set to come into the game. So 2 down, and Bullet Joe Rogan the pitch, and 5-4 to the left-handed hitting Strunk, and that is going to be a catcher X. So Big Josh Gibson, he is a 3 and a E2. And that's a 4 and an 8 with an E2. WG. Let's check for error first. E2, 8, no play, and WG is a catcher's card is the one I knew I would struggle with because there's so many darn things. Runners on base while pitch, blah, 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 no runners on. The batter hits a squib in front, and the catcher throws him out. So there we go. 2-3 on the put out there, so Strunk is retired, and we are heading to the bottom of the 9th inning and facing some possible free baseball here. Our score is 4-4. And new pitcher for the Athletics, Gettysburg Eddie Plank, the diminutive left-hander. Hall of Fame pitcher and over 300 wins as a southpaw. And he is going to face the top of the order here, Cool Papa Bell. And Bell against the left-hander, 3 and an 8, and that is going to be a single. And not the man you want to put on in this situation. And you know, with the game on the line, he is going to try and steal, but he needs a 4 or 6 to get the jump. Does not happen. He'll stay put. Oscar Charleston up. And 5 and a 10 against the left-hander. And struck him out. Gettysburg Eddie, a big K there of Oscar Charleston. He still has to get through Suttles and Gibson to get out of this inning, however. And 6-12 against the righty, and that is going to be a fly out to center field. Runners hold. So this is the situation. Winning run on first base. Josh Gibson up, Eddie Plank on the mound. It gets no better than this. And 6 and a 6 against the righty. That's a ground ball down to shortstop, and Jack Berry over to first base. And we are heading for extras, folks. Our score remains tied at 4-4. So we are set for an exciting extra inning finish here. And top of the order for the A's, Bullet Joe Rogan to face Eddie Collins. And 6 and a 7 to the left-hander. And that is going to be a split chance single. Eddie Collins gets it through the infield. So he resides on first base, and they are not going to try and steal here. McGinnis instead is going to bunt. And Stuffy is an A. How do you get the name Stuffy? I'm just curious. 2. 2A, and that will be a sacrifice. So Collins down to second base. And McGinnis, we're going to give him a 3-4 on the sacrifice. So 1 down, and Danny Murphy up now with the go-ahead run on second base in the form of one cocky Eddie Collins. Bullet Joe Rogan winds and delivers, and 1 and a 9 against the right-hander. And that's going to get a run home, folks. Danny Murphy, that is a double. And that sacrifice looms large as Eddie Collins comes across the plate. And Danny Murphy, the hero of the moment, a 1-out double to drive home the go-ahead run. And Frank Home Run Baker up now. Baker against Rogan, and 1 and a 12, and that's a walk. So Rogan is faltering a little bit here in relief of Satchel, Paige, and in danger of losing this game. Rube Oldring. Whoops. We will keep that, but we have to roll that too. 1 and a 9 for Oldring, and that's going to be it's going to get another run home at least. And a single, runners advance 2. So into score comes Murphy. Over to third goes Frank Baker and Rube Oldring. So that's for you, Chris, at Stratomatic, Delaware. Gives the A's a little bit of a cushion here. Briss Lord up now. And still only 1 out. Pitch from Rogan, and 2 and a 7. And that's going to be a walk, and the sacks are loaded. Still no action in the bullpen for the Negro League All-Stars. They're going to let Rogan ride this one out. He got himself into this mess. Get yourself out of it. And Jack Berry up, and 6 and a 2 against the righty, and that is going to be a fly ball to center field, and that's going to get another run home from third. So a 3 spot as Frank Baker comes in, and that's a sacrifice fly 8 RBI. So Ira Thomas now 2 down, 3 runs in, 2 runners still on. Dang it. Good on the 1 die, 23 and a 12. And that is going to be a ground ball down to shortstop, and the inning is finally over. But surprisingly, the 1911 world champion A's show why they are world champions. They get 3 runs across on 3 hits, play some small ball, sacrifice fly, sacrifice bunt, and they, going into the bottom of the 10th inning, have taken a 7-4 lead in this one. So Gettysburg Eddie Plank now just has to get out of this. He has a comfortable cushion, and facing Turkey Stearns. And 5 and a 6 against the lefty, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. And I'm surprised my dogs did not bark at that motorcycle. 2 and a 10 to Judy Johnson. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Baker. So Eddie Plank, 1 out away, and this would be an improbable comeback. The Negro League Hall of Fame All-Stars, Satchel's All-Stars, led for the majority of the game. A's tied it in the 8th, and then a big 3-run outburst in the top of the 10th off Bullet Joe Rogan. Ray Dandridge, 4 and an 8 from Plank, and that is going to be a possible single. It's hit towards third. Can Baker get to it? And Baker does. Over to first base McGinnis. This one is over. So yes, only an exhibition game, but you could say this was a mild upset, as the 1911 world champion Philadelphia A's have defeated Satchel's All-Stars, made up of Negro League Hall of Famers, in 10 innings, 7-4. So we have our final line score. The A's they get 7 runs on 12 hits. Satchel's All-Stars get 4 runs on 13 hits. The A's have 2 errors. Satchel's All-Stars have no errors. So the winning pitcher in relief, Gettysburg Eddie Plank, and Bullet Joe Rogan takes the loss for Satchel's All-Stars. And good to get this exhibition game out of the way. I was real excited to play with this Hall of Fame set, especially the Negro League All-Star team. And hopefully getting reacclimated to the SADV game didn't waste too much time, but appreciate you watching. I see we're running about 54 minutes, so yeah, I need to get that down to 35 to 40, and I will do better as I get used to the charge. But again, thanks for watching, and again, a reminder, Stratomatic Delaware Chris, I mentioned him a few times tonight, but he's running a live stream marathon, 7 games on tap tomorrow. Give him a look if you have the time. and 99 subscribers, one away from our giveaway, which will be 3 rookie cards, Mark McGuire, technical not official, and official David Need and Mike Piazza rookie cards. So one more subscriber. Tell your friends if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscription button or the bell to notify you when we put up new videos. And again, thank you to everyone who supports the channel. Really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. So have a great night and keep rolling for the fences. We'll see ya.